Hello and welcome back. No, we are not playing as the United States. We are playing as the tumor inside the United States, the Indian territory, from which we will eventually grow and gobble them up. That's the goal. We are trying to get the achievement for subjugating the United States as the Indian territory. And that's kind of the overall goal of this run, getting the American territory achievement, which is quite a difficult achievement because you'll very quickly find yourself, locked in the middle of a state, and you are currently, at the start of the game, you are a puppet. There's probably a way to start this where you declare war on the United States very early on. We've gone for the long-term growth plan of putting in all of the really useful edicts we can, and trying to just grow until our economy is so large that we can fight them. Their GDP is 134. Ours, as of last episode, is 75. So we've passed 50% of their GDP. This is a pretty big deal. And this episode, we will kind of be preparing for our ability to, go xenomorph style and tear our way out of their belly. When we declare war on them, we will have to take Texas. This will give us access to the coast, which will allow us to trade with other nations. This is a really important feature or aspect of, playing a small state that is landlocked. Getting into the coast allows you to declare interest in other areas of the world. See, we can only declare interests adjacent to our starting interest. So unfortunately, we cannot force trade routes with Great Shing, which we would want to be able to do. We haven't been involved in the trading at all. We've just been involved in building here tall. And so this is what we're going to continue to do. Clothing's really profitable. We've been shying away from expanding it much, much more. But let's get off and away. But we are researching art silk, so soon we will be able to get silk up in this bizzle. We already have prepped quite a few of these synthetic plants, which will allow us to turn on craftsman sewing. And I think we're going to expand the textile mills even more. They're very, very profitable. We have been trying to get all of our, manufactories up to the critical number 51, which is where you get the max economies of scale throughput bonus, and then we've taken them off auto expand. So this is kind of what we're doing. We put the textile mills back on though because they're just so profitable, and this is kind of what we're doing. The United States is exporting, I am sure, clothing because they can't have all that demand. So they're exporting level 100 to France, and so we are a major supplier of the world's clothing, as it were. Looks like the Free Trade Party again wins. We are very, very legitimate, which is partly why we have so many loyalists, and we are able to keep the happiness high, which is giving us really good bonuses. We wish that we had the trade union a second bonus for the workforce ratio, but hey, 20% manufacturing throughput input is manufacturing industries throughput is pretty good. We have 3 powerful interest groups, and we have the 3 powerful interest groups that are best: the Industrialists, Intelligentsia, and Workers Union. So this is kind of where we're at. Where we're going to need to go is we are going to need to, at some point, just decide we're going to turn a corner and build 99 barracks. I would like to go mass conscription before then, but with we have to somehow get either the trade unionists in government because they support it, but the problem is we won't be very legitimate with that type of setup, and the industrialists have to stay in government because they're winning the elections. If we take a look at the law again, we might be able to pass it somewhere else, but the main reason we want mass conscription is because this would give us the absolute most number of units we can get with just a single province. Professional army is pretty good, but this is a little bit better. We take plus 100 mass or conscription center level, as well as the 4% in conscription rate, whereas here we have 1% conscription rate. So if we had mass conscription, we would be able to conscript 100 battalions instead of just this 19. And so this is kind of why we're like that. I can't remember exactly what our situation is. Yeah, we're paying 72k to the United States. We really want to get out from under this kind of in the near future. And I think we can. We might just be able to stall them out with trench. If the war works the way a war versus a protectorate overlord works, we will stay in the United States market for the duration of the war, and then we'll be booted out. We would want to get back into their market, even if we get booted out of their market, because we want to have access to all their stuff. Now, this is kind of troublesome. Has there been a major change here? Not in cost and not in income. Okay. Why are you telling me this? Notably, we are building up, or we built up a pretty large investment pool. We won't be able to drain it faster as well, because we are capped out on our construction centers. So this is a pretty critical thing, you know, in terms of we've hit a wall by which we cannot expand very easily. We're going to go combustion engine here, and then electrical capacitors, and then electric railroads, and then I think we're going to go military tech, and so we're going to try and hit a nice power spike with NCO training, is my thought, in terms of how we are trying to do this. Which maybe is a couple episodes down the road, but now we get to turn on this, and then we get to turn on this. And this should produce more than enough silk. And it should be very, very profitable. And this should figure it out. Now, unfortunately, we can't do elastics. I don't think there's anywhere near 600 rubber. We could double check. We could turn on elastics. It would cause a shortage. But it would be a small shortage. I think we will refrain from turning it on for now. I really wish we could just turn on some and not all of them. But we cannot. That is not how the game works, unfortunately. We do have free real estate in the queue. And we will need a couple railroads coming up here. And we have no in the queue, so we'll just put 3 in the queue. We'll use them eventually. Almost certainly, although we are reaching a point where we won't need them, because once we get electric railways, we will get the event that doubles their output in our capital, which is tremendous when we only have one state. And so I think maybe these might be the very last railroads we build. I guess we're just trying to get stuff to 51 then, eh? Anything we expand isn't going to employ, really. Or we could just... Ooh, this is a place employing relatively well, so we want to build more to increase the throughput bonus that they're receiving. And I guess we could just build more of these after that. Because they still are our most profitable thing. We will do that. Then I think we might want to chill once it's on 69. These I think are... No, they're not employing at all. Wow. Yeah. It's important that we have paper local, though. That can supply both our government admins. So this takes 350. This takes 170. Need about 600 paper. So we have more than enough to fulfill the demand for paper, because being low on paper is really bad. Just trying to think what our economy looks like. So the problem is we don't have anywhere near the inputs we need to keep this economy going, and we're going to need to get the inputs from the United States after we break away from them. I'm a little tempted to start damaging relations with them. We will need to get relations pretty low, and they're currently very high. Right, they're plus 100. So we're going to actually begin damaging relations with them. And this should take quite a long time. We might even expel diplomats once we're closer to being ready, because we don't want them to switch from protective. Although, we maybe could get this diplomatically. I don't think we can, but... See, the base reluctance penalty... And we're never getting above great unrecognized regional. Yeah, I just don't think there's a way we're going to be able to do that. I haven't tested it, but I think going for that is going to stall out the run quite a bit. And you are all going to be on cars soon, which is going to make you way less efficient at making the engines, which is going to suck, but we want to turn on the cars PM. Well, actually, we won't be on cars yet. I guess we'll have to turn on that PM kind of late. Because we're not going to build 99 of the buildings, so there's no way. We love this event. We just, you know, turn it back up. Oh, we can turn education up as well. I turned down for education, know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Of course, keeping this queue going is a little rough, considering we're kind of overbuilt. I think that we are We still have reasonably high attraction, but we do have the malice from being overpopulated, but we have the Intelligentsia bonus and Greater Grass campaigns, which is going to continue to bring quite a lot of people over to us, especially as the standard of living starts kicking up like it is. I mean, I guess we can 51 this as well. We are using too much infrastructure. We have some in the queue, I think. Let's just put a couple more. Let's get up to 60. YOLO, I guess. Once we switch to electric railways and get the bonus, we will probably be deleting some, but we'll figure that out when it comes time. Let's see our interest groups. Pretty good shape. We want to keep kind of these three above 20% clout to maximize the bonus. We would like to make the trade unionists happier. We just passed compulsory schools, which they like. We could pass workers' protections, except that law sucks. Protected speech is... I think I would rather hold on to the authority, because we're kind of using all the authority. We could turn on colonial affairs, but there's really not too much to be done. We can go back to appointed bureaucrats if we need to empower the intelligentsia and weaken the petite bourgeoisie. This is something we can do, but I think for the most part we're all set in our laws. You know, we really like landed voting here because it gives political strength, flat political strength, to aristocrats and capitalists based on, you know, just their existence, and it's not contingent on wealth or literacy, which means it is easy for us to keep the industrialists strong for a longer period of time, which we're keeping over the 18% clout that they have to stay above in order to get this plus 20% investment pool contribution. Now, as I was talking, I forgot what we just researched, so telephonos. Well, that gives us something to do, I guess. So we're going to turn on the electronics industries. Going to make them publicly traded. And how are we doing on the rails? Not the best. I think we got a few in the queue, though. We do. Guess we got to need a couple more of these. Just always kicking them to the front of the queue. The arts academies are fully employed, so I guess we could just go +5 on these. Always, like, in my head, it's like weird to expand these so much because they're so not profitable at the start, and then they become very profitable as you get kind of the new PMs. Is a big driver. We will go electric rail. Why can't... Oh, we're going to go capacitors after combustion engine. Capacitors is a really big tech because you get electric sewing machines and power looms. Both electric capacitors is really big, as well as mechanized workshops in terms of making the clothing really having like a really strong advantage in that. Let's make sure we're not running a shortage. Yeah, nope. We're not shortaging on any of this stuff. We are... It's quite nice that we have this locally now on the both the dyes and the silks. They're not employing very much. I guess the US started importing silks from someone, because that's the only way that would be possible. Yeah, they're importing silks. They wouldn't import silks. This is kind of frustrating. We tried, we had this PM turned on for forever, trying to get them to import silks before. They wouldn't do it. And now as soon as we actually make the industry to import silks, they do it. Go figure. So, like, this is going to have, like, no employment. Like, oh well. We'll just keep it going, but... Alright, so I don't think we'll be using the motorized reconnaissance in the barracks quite yet, but we can go public motor carriages in the urban center. And we could actually even maybe turn on chainsaws? It is labor saving. Let's go over here and turn on public motor carriages. And then we will go electrical capacitors into electric railways. Two very strong techs. I mean, I guess, are we running... Electricity's so expensive, I kind of don't want to turn the lights on, but I kind of do want to turn the lights on, so... We're going to turn the lights on. Produce more services here. It's nice that this also benefits from encouraging manufacturing and economies of scale. And let's take a look. We are not overproduced. How many rails do we have? 2 in the queue. I guess I'll put 1, 2 at the end. And expand this further, because I guess, why not? This is just fully employed. Huge cash reserves, big money. I wish we could do elastics, but we can't. I guess for strategic reasons, we do want these to be a little bit higher. But they're not going to employ or do anything. But a lot of what we do is not going to employ or do anything. It's just driving up the standard of living slowly here. And the standard of living across America is actually quite high, and we are a big cause of that. Same with Austria. We're paying them so much money too. Even once we declare a war against them, I think we still end up paying the Diplo Pact until, which is wild to me. But I guess we could lower. Well, we're fine deficit spending for a hot minute. The investment pool is growing so much, but we can't really afford to expand construction because a big part of our costs is government wages, which are driven by the average SOL, and so unless we want to drive down the average SOL, which we can do by raising taxes, which would save us money and it lowers the SOL, but the SOL is driving immigration, so we're kind of fine just deficit spending and leaving it. We do have a couple bonuses that make it so we pay less in interest. We're paying 20k now. Or do we have them activated? No, we don't. If they were happier, we would have the loan interest rate, which is the bonus I thought we had. We might try and make the armed forces strong right before we declare war on the United States so that we get a plus 30% and plus 30% offense and defense bonus. This is a reasonable thing. But for now, we're kind of just chilling and not passing laws. We really want to stay on landed voting, which I mentioned a few minutes ago, allows us to keep the interest groups that we want stronger for longer. I think eventually it becomes untenable to keep the industrialists above 20%, but maybe we could even bolster them and keep them long even longer. Wait, keep them strong even longer. Not long even longer. That's the wrong adjective. Interest group leader retires. Of course, the thing says that they die. Maybe I'll move the camera a little bit so that you can see the bottom of the thing. I think this is a good spot for the camera. But let's see the new ideology on this baby. He's a communist, okay. And we lost a bunch of legitimacy. That's not ideal. So what we can do is we can lower taxes to raise legitimacy, but I don't think that's going to cut it. We would have to lower it 3 notches, which we cannot do. That is not a possible solution. We cannot make a more legitimate government than this. So it's a bit unfortunate that we dropped the legitimacy. We might even go into triple-digit radicals. That would be terrible. Yeah, these places are not employing. Ooh, the furniture one is kind of employing. There's a furniture shortage, but I guess we'll just add something there. What are you doing on this? You're using a lot of the... You're using basically the exact amount. We do have a couple in the queue. We'll put one at the top, one at the bottom. Kind of a little arbitrary there, how we're doing it. You're employing, but you're employing all the way up, so we'll keep increasing you. Are you employed? Nope. Are you employed? Nope. The engines are relatively well employed, so is this, and we can increase the throughput bonus, you know, further on this one. So the food industry, I guess, is going to be the next up-and-comer. And the Arts Academy, I suppose. We have more than enough paper production. International. We don't want their relationship to get better. We're actually trying to make it worse. So we will say no to that event. It's a weird event because almost always you want to say yes, but not on these ones. We don't have switchboards yet, but we do have the telephonos. But I think it is entirely domestic consumption that is driving this. So we'll click it on auto expand, but I'm not expecting to see it expanding anytime soon. Now we could take off a consumption tax. The plan is before we when we build all the when we build a whole ton of units, we're going to turn on. Was my camera bringing? No, it's not. Okay, we're going to turn on enlistment efforts, and at the expense of the tax, which is going to give us better conscription rate and training rate. Not sure how important the modifier that is. I haven't gone deep dive in military, because generally I think you should just try and have a way bigger stick than your opponent. But let's actually experiment a little, because I don't mind, you know, getting rid of this consumption tax. It's kind of whatever. Let's get rid of that for now. And we have currently... We have 23 conscripts. What happens if we put encourage conscription efforts down, or enlistment efforts down? Will this number just bug out and get way bigger? I think we said we had 23. Oh, it just bugs out and gets way bigger. Okay, so this will put us at 150 battalions with the extra morale, so maybe we stay on pro-army. So we can take off the enlistment efforts now, because we don't need it yet. But this is something we can do later, and we know we can do later. And we might want to arm them somewhat soon. We'll put back in a consumption tax on the luxury furniture. Whoop whoop, we've passed 100 million. So we are currently a vassal of the United States. And friendly. Not as friendly as you'd like. And we are at 101 million, and they are at 146. So we are the economy of the United States in terms of the industries. I bet if we go around and just take a look, no factories. Yeah, you got a few factories. You got a few factories. Some of them are subsidized. The boom booms. Not that many factories relative to us. Yeah. We got some though. Just fair enough. And the subsidized ones are, I guess, outcompeting this, but that's fine enough with us. We are consuming their subsidized goods, so we are benefiting from their subsidies. Staying under triple digits here is very nice. All this approval rating is nice for getting these tasty, tasty bonuses, although we would really like more on the trade unions, and we're not getting that, unfortunately. And now we're not as legitimate as we'd like, but that's okay. What's not okay is letting this construction queue lapse. Okay. We are using 1,300. I guess it's not the end of the world. We're going to build 3 more. Nice. And then hopefully never build a single another one. I don't know. These are employing, so I mean, I guess it's this. We don't even have film yet. Film's the really good one. I mean, I guess we'll take you to the Magic 51. That is a little bit larger than I would like. Can we take... it'll make us less legitimate if we raise the taxes. This is a bit more than I'd like to be spending. What is going on that is driving this? Okay, we're paying a ton in the pacts. Ton in government wages. Let's increase taxes. Hopefully this starts to drive down. Oh, this is the cause here. Our bad. We were probably not as responsive to the start of that as we should have been. Let's just up it to 20. I mean, we'll need them eventually, and we're not very close to telephone switchboards, so... We are just getting way, way more pops, so we will need to pretty consistently build these. We'll put another lucky 21 at the back of the queue. But you just started employing a little. And this will probably clear up. Also, by raising the taxes, what happens is it should kind of stifle the standard of living, which has been rising a little bit, or at least slow it down, which we are more than happy to have happen, considering how much we're paying for government wages. And we do eventually want government wages to get a little bit cheap, because we are going to expand the military greatly, which is going to be extremely expensive. We actually want to build a surplus up, so considering if we take a look here, how we're contested, either way, we're going to actually increase these taxes to max. So, because I actually want to build a little bit of a reserve here if we can. It's unfortunate that we can't make use of this investment pool. We are getting they must not cover the arts. So if you notice, normally the investment pool transfer covers all your construction goods. They must not cover the art academies. Which is partially why we're experiencing this pain here. Which is good to know, I guess. So we'll just get it up to 51 and then we'll just kind of let it do its thing. I guess we'll Be not so nice. Add a couple more of these into the queue, and then try and 51 this one. Russia's improving relations. That's fantastic. Let's see if we can make any new friends. This is entirely based on who has interests in our region. Somehow Tunis has decided that our region is interesting. It's the most interesting region alive. Politician died. Charles Tehihi. The new ideology of the new guy is a moderate. That's not very interesting. Yeah, it's unfortunate. We are getting the -1 opposition group approval. We would have the trade unions bonus if we did not have that, which is a really good bonus. Fortunately, this is not a tenable solution there. Unless they all have the same ideology. So if they all go radical, then we would be able to put them in... we went to triple-digit radicals. This is terrible. The calamity is here. It is partially because, if you take a look, standard of living is now dipping now that we've raised the taxes 2 notches, so maybe 2 notches is a little too much. We'll just do it back to 1. Take a look at our government legitimacy. It's now back over 75. So we'll be happy to stay in this legitimate range if we can, and just hemorrhage a little bit more to taxes. Our investment pool is growing at quite a large rate. We can't make use of it because we can't increase construction. We are at the cap, and so, man, we really need to. I think we need to axe this entire debt thing, though, is a big problem. Because I'm thinking that when we declare war, we are going to have significant problems while fighting them, the United States. And so I'm thinking we will be deficit spending no matter what we do when we're fighting them. Especially because we have to keep paying the 115k to them. You know, as we're trying to get... Now, why can't we do... Is not a committed participant in any diplomatic play. I guess they're a committed participant? Okay. But as this comes down, you'll notice we will spend less in government wages a little bit. Of course, we built some more of the buildings, so that will cause us to spend more in government wages. But, yeah, that didn't go down. Electrical capacitors, a big one. We get brine and, let's see, brine and then textile on those. So we will go over the PMs now. They are better. Where's the chem plant? Where are you, chem planty? Brine electrolysis makes more boom booms. And this is a very good PM. It will make it use less laborers and more electricity. We're more than happy to make the labor overall cheaper, even though it says it's not profitable. Now, what's your problem? So this should hopefully increase the demand for electricity by enough that the electricity things employ, and it figures itself out. A little scared to click this button, though. But what it does do is it just makes a lot more clothes as well. So we're going to do it, and we are going to hope that that number lies to us, and the increased employment here is going to be a big driver. We are going to be turning on electrical railroads, so I guess we expand this a little bit. We just 51 this. Should have clicked that earlier. And then from here, I think we go military tech. We have started to pull this back here, which is nice. We could also swap. So the social mobility decree I don't think is that good. I think we're going to swap it for a consumption tax. So no more social mobility for us. Instead, we're going to tax luxury clothes. Or we could take off this tax and tax services. I think I'd rather tax luxury clothes and luxury furniture. It makes a little bit less money. But it depresses the prices of the good a little bit so that they will be exported more, and services affect the lower rung population a little bit more. And so now we're making money. And we are going to be sitting on making money for kind of the foreseeable future. Man, our economy is really going straight vertical with these new techs as stuff has adjusted. What was it? I'm going to click this. This building is now using less laborers and is driving up demand for this. This hopefully will employ a little bit. I guess not. But it is just a small shortage. It's a shortage of dyes as well. Well, then this should employ, ideally, with the dyes being expensive. I guess the silk's not expensive. Would you actually be better if we switched to only dyes? Let's prioritize dyes here, which makes this building very profitable because dyes are expensive, because the United States has decided they want to import silks. Go figure. We were trying to get it for forever, and now we can't get it. But this will be very profitable. This will employ more, so this will be good. Making good money here. It should take us a little while to get out of this this pool, but this pit, this bottomless. You're solving the wood problem, so I think we might just not build a single another railway. And what we will do is, when we get electrical railways, once we spike the event, or maybe even before we spike the event, we will take off encouraging road building for consumption tax, I think. And this will allow us to start to build a little bit of a positive balance, which I feel that we will need for the war with the United States, because we are going to build like a whole ton of units. And once we build 99 units, if you take a look here at our employed, we have 1.6k gainfully employed. We will have 100,000 more employees needed for the battalions, and then we will also be taking 50,000 out from the workforce, so 150,000 more. So that'll be a 10% increase in terms of what we need for our employment, which is going to be uncomfortable. It will spike prices of labor. Well, I love some tech. I think we can afford this for now. I love tech. What can I say? People want Council Republic, but just a little bit. So that's okay. I think at some point we might want to... Do we want militarized? No, this is the other run. We want militarized police force, not for this one. For this one, we kind of have all the laws we want. We might switch voting if we can't maintain legitimacy. Houseware plastics for our glassworks. Now, would you be more profitable on this? We actually have some oil. I guess you would. Alright, we'll swap it over. We do have a really large throughput bonus, which makes overall using oil a little bit more attractive, but not way more attractive. Crazy we can't even employ in the logging camp, despite, Alright, Steam Donkey might be better now. Normally I find chainsaws are really bad. Free Trade Party wins again. Who would have thought? Let's just take a look at the clout situation. We are maintaining powerful trade unions, powerful intelligentsia, powerful industrialists. You love to see it. And the trade unions are a little happy again, so we're getting a +5 bonus with a 20% manufacturing throughput. We really want to stay on top of that. We could increase taxes a little bit even more and stay in the same bracket, but just barely. I think we'll just sit on our consumption taxes and let this take care of that, as well as just the credit line increasing is going to help us decrease that bar, at least in appearance. I think we're gonna take a look. I really don't want to expand the railroad anymore. Alright, we're gonna expand it to 75 and then we're done. Because we are researching the tech that's gonna make it so we don't have to expand it anymore at all. You are using electricity, but you just don't want to employ. They'll be much better to employ once they have the full 90% throughput bonus, though. So, New York is actually an incredible state because they get the 20% building throughput bonus on electricity, and they also get the 10% shipyards bonus And you also have the hardwood bonus, but it's much less a big a deal. But it's just, and you also have the Statue of Liberty. This is probably the second best province in the game. It gives you 25% migration attraction. Also the prestige, but it's mainly the migration attraction you care about. Let's see if we can make any friends. Probably not. We've been very lonely. I guess smoke them if you got them. Maybe Tunis will decide that they want to help us against the United States of America. We will be trying to take Texas. And maybe the rest of Oklahoma, but probably just Texas, depending on what the situation looks like. Our population is going down. That is interesting. We did increase taxes. We also are overpopulated, which is like this combined with, you know, the construction centers being maxed out. You know, it's becoming difficult for us to continue to grow at the rate we have, which is allowing us to currently kind of outstrip the United States. We're about to pass them in GDP. Kind of soon here. We're sucking off pops from them because they have standard living average of 17.7 and we have 24.5. This is really profitable. Gotta keep the queue filled. Of course, gonna run shortages. Now we are over on the infrastructure. I don't want to build any more infrastructure. We're just going to eat the problem. We could, in theory, juggle stuff, but I'm not trying to juggle with 300 construction, where we send stuff that's almost completed to the back of the queue, you know, so that we don't run as big a malice on the infrastructure. Oh, I think this is causing a problem. I think the lack of competitiveness brought on by this is going to start causing problems. We only have 90% access to the market. Do I really have to... Oh, we have one railway that's going to finish. That's not going to cover all this. Man, I think we have to build more railroad. No, we're just going to eat it for a little bit. Because I'm not about to build a railroad just so I can delete it in like 6 months. That's not what I'm trying to do, man. God, these buildings are so profitable. They're just sucking off the workers from, like, the other buildings. We're siphoning them off, whatever. This is somehow fully employed. That's wild. That's insane to me. Canada break free? Is this new? They're in the American market. Man, what's the American market look like? Just Chad market? Yeah, pretty jacked. It is a good market. We have made clothes and clothes relatively cheap. They are exporting the clothes, so that's part of why they're not super, super cheap. Still have a pretty big credit to burn through here. But we're still not... We're getting closer to our goal of declaring war, but we're about to finish electric railroads, and then we're going to go into the mill tax, and probably go hand-cranked gun into enlistment offices, and then maybe trench, skipping over these two techs. That might be too much to skip over. You get malices for your research speed based on the amount of text remaining that are in your current tier list. We could also just go elevators for +5 construction and just try and build a little bit more. I'm not sure what's best. We have an empty queue. I mean, I guess we'll fill it. We'll just build that up to 100. I'm gonna take a look at cloud. If the Intelligentsia starts to drop low, what we can do is we can just build more universities in order to help empower them. We're gonna increase taxes a little bit here to try and pull this, get the money situation in check. And then I guess we don't have a throughput bonus on these, so... Switch to automobile production, and then they would all just unemploy. Do we have electric engine? No, we don't. We, of course, are getting worse and worse access, but we are not solving this infrastructure problem until we get the tech for the railroads that allows us to swap to electric railroads, which will give us plus 2.2k infrastructure. We are not building another railroad in our lives here in Oklahoma, I don't think. This will clear the credit relatively quickly. And look, we are still also, the amount you're actually making is this plus this, because you'll eventually use this investment pool. We would be able to use it if we could build more construction centers, which we can't. And we're also paying like 100, look at this, we're paying 169k, that's not so nice, to the United States. In Diplopacts, so we definitely want to get out. And can we demand independence from them? We cannot. They must be involved in a Diplo play. Still. But this will also drive down the standard of living a little bit. We're kind of okay with it settling around 24.4. You know, that is stalling out, I guess, to some degree our population growth, but we imagine we don't want to default while we're at war, and since we are planning on to go to war, we would want to have like maybe a third to a half the bar in terms of positive balance before we go to war, which is going to take a while to build back up. Also, I mean, you want a deficit spend to build more? We can't build more. And our government's still legitimate despite us having high taxes. If this dips below 75, we will decrease the taxes to take care of it. Trade unions are also happy, which makes us happy. Because we are getting 20% manufacturing industries throughput bonus. Really wish we had their other bonus, but we don't. Hopefully we get a feminist sometime. We can switch to women's suffrage, but we don't have a feminist now. So silly of us early on to not have open borders. Because we thought we passed it when we didn't. Fantastic. Alright, so now you'll notice 1.5 out of 1.56 out of 1.49. Doink. Which of course gonna cause an electricity problem. Now we will research these hand-cranked machine guns, I think. And we will take a look-see. Now this is producing infrastructure, but it's got problems for now. But look at this infrastructure surplus. So now we can actually delete a whole bunch of these railways, which we will delete 5. Because they weren't deployed anyways. And we're going to delete a lot more than 5. I think we're going to delete probably down to 50. Yeah, we're going to delete down to 50 of these. Which frees up workers for other things. Which is very nice. And this will even double once we pop the event. So 1560 out of 1641 we are using. So 50 is the number, except we still haven't spiked the event for having the electric railways in the capital. Which I don't know what all you need to spike the event, but it might just be max cash reserves, max employment, something like this. Now we're making way more money because we are having to subsidize less on these railroads. It's a big part of it. Not as much less as I thought. But making quite a bit now. And let's expand some of this. Are we gonna spike the event, or are we actually gonna have to build back some of those railroads like an idiot? I'm not sure. I thought the event would fire here. Oh, do we have to have profitable building for the... That's not gonna happen. Public motor carriages and automobile production? At least one of those. So this has to become fully employed and profitable, which we can't do because of electricity. It's low. If we could subsidize, we could do it, but we can't subsidize because we're laissez-faire. I guess we could switch off of laissez-faire to protectionism. Would rather not do that, but it's something we could do because getting double infrastructure is such a huge deal. In fact, we will actually have to build railroads up a little bit if we can't do that. So let's put a few in the front of the queue and try and have a think how we want to handle this. It's going to be a huge, huge bonus, but the problem is once we get off of laissez-faire, it's going to be very hard for us to switch back, but that will make the trade unionists happier. But I'm worried about the industrialists losing power over time. Guess we could go protectionism though, just to do this one thing. Alternatively, we could delete most of our motor industries, because what you have to do is you have to have this turned on, which we cannot turn this on because there's no demand for automobiles and it produces less engines. So if we turn this on, it just crushes us. You have to turn it on and have it be profitable, or at least that's what this says. I think that this is the event I'm thinking of too, so we actually really want to do that. Alright, so how are we going to switch to protectionism then? Or sorry, to interventionalism. The trade unionists need to be in government. So we can do this. People don't like it. And try and swap protectionism. Alright, let's do it. Or interventionalism, rather. And we will subsidize the electrical building, which will cause us a monstrous amount of pain in the short term. I wonder if we could just subsidize these directly instead. Probably not. We're using exactly enough infrastructure. We're producing. Oh well. Just putting stuff in the queue, kind of have stuff in the queue. Are making a lot of money. The investment pool is actually draining now. Having a really large investment pool is kind of another reason to want to do this. I think the investment pool is draining because, yeah, we're no longer getting job creators, unfortunately. But we are getting solidarities for the workforce ratio, which is really good. Alright, with socialist ideas sweeping, blah 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 has been appointed into a leading position in the government. Oh no. We don't want to allow wage subsidies. Alright. So we'll just... This is on its way up though. Should attract more people. We're making a lot of money. We've almost gotten rid of our thing. Electricity is not running a shortage anymore. This will never be profitable on the motor cars, but So we'll use 1 automobile, so we'll use 150. And if we swap this over and it gets fully employed, it will make 1,200 automobiles. Hence our problem. Way too many automobiles, we can't bifurcate it. It's like automobiles are nothing. Alright, we're gonna tell them to suck it. Because that will decay. So this is kind of setting up for next round. Maybe we want this a little bit higher. Oh, switchboards is nice. Because we could actually create demand for our electrical places now. As well as not have to build any of this for a while. That's a lot of money. We can do this and then delete some of them. So let's do this. We have it paused, and then we're going to delete some of these. I kind of like this. I'm getting a little bit more powerful because they are the ones that are in danger of getting out of power out of these 3. Now we are running a little bit excess bureaucracy even after deleting a few of these. Just switching over to the switchboards, but now these should be a lot better or more profitable. Yeah, I mean, give the people what they want, I guess. Chairs. People want only one thing, and it's disgusting. It's chairs. Are we gonna need... We just pre-made deleting those railroads, I guess. We have quite a bit more space, but... Get a lot of education access with our standard of living so high in private education. We could even decrease this a little bit if we needed to. Well, if we decrease it, we would need to decrease it 4 notches to be an acceptable government, which I don't think we could do. So, I don't think that's in the cards for us. Oh, you're so profitable. I just can't not expand you more, right? That's how that works. It's construction. I have to spend it. I guess this is maybe going to 51 despite really not needing it. Just for the max throughput bonus. I mean, we have to spend a lot more on railroads when we do that, but we have to spend, once we get the event to fire for public transit, we won't have to spend very much on railroads at all. We're gonna make electricity real cheap. And I think we're gonna, actually, I think we're gonna subsidize the urban centers and the other thing. Or maybe we'll just sub the urban centers. Once we get interventionalism. We could potentially swap back as well to laissez-faire. Laissez-faire is better, but it's not like... Well, actually, it's just like way better. We just only want it temporarily to be able to subsidize something, so... That is like the only reason. It's a very temporary intervention, so I guess we might swap back laissez-faire like immediately after. Which I think is just a good way to piss your pops off, but you know, it is what it is. We're speeding up to speed 5. We are anxious about this. And let's see, this whatever is researching. So if that's not spreading, I think we're gonna go gentry cranes next, manually, with the idea that if we go trench work, it takes 5 years. I don't think we even want to go 5 years into... Oh, this is a tier 5 tech. I guess we're gonna go trench warfare and maybe try and do it after trench. Yikes. We cannot tolerate this behavior. Never in the world could we ever tolerate. Ooh, our home affairs. I thought they were maxed out. Let's max them out. Alright, we could also just go directly for trench here. And just eat the penalty and just have trench before the US, I assume. I think we're going to go to this. I think what we want to do is we want to go bolt action rifle, machine gun, and trench. I guess I shouldn't be building these up because these are sucking the laborers away. Can I get an advancement, please? So we want to specialize in just one agricultural good. And the reason for this is because, reasons. Now the reason for this is because you get a throughput bonus. I think the one that's best for keeping our economy stable is in fact grain, so I guess we could just do this. Please get interventionalism. We have an election coming up. Free Trade Party has got all the power here. They have all the votes. Because we have landed voting. We might spike the landowners out of obscurity with this, but hopefully not. With these grain, building these. I don't think this is going to be enough industries to save them from their fate of nothingness. But I mean, it'll spike them out of nothingness. Or it should. I think, let's look at legitimacy. I think we were going to decrease taxes here. More than happy for the Industrialists to cannibalize the Intelligentsia a little bit. So the Industrialists are having a hard time keeping up the clout score. We are going to need another government admin soonish, so we'll just add a couple to the queue. Industrial boom, boost our industries further. Hot damn. Really nice bonus to have. This is real high. Can we get interventionalism though, please? We'll swap back immediately, pinky promise. It doesn't have to be profitable, right? Greater than 0? Does it have to be profitable? If we force all the inputs, we can force make it all the inputs cheap though, so that's what we can do. It's gonna be really uncomfortable when we do it. Free Trade Party wins. Well, we don't want to swap them in just yet. But we can make taxes too cheaper in order to be the next tier up. Did our economy surpass the United States, though? It did. They're at 177 million, and we're at 200 million. So the preparation for this war is going quite well. We really want interventionalism, so we will sub all the inputs for the urban centers, I think. Which will sub it for the entire United States market. This will be really inefficient and painful, but I think it makes these Building is profitable. We're getting a huge 80% throughput bonus. Maybe we actually can just sub it and have it be profitable, but probably not. We'd probably have to sub electricity too. They do have cash reserves, so they are making a positive balance. Okay, cool. So what happens if we just sub you? Because you have the cash reserves. If we sub you, will you just go up to 3/4 employment and still work? Oh, so you're now running a negative balance. So let's sub you too. Which is like, we're gonna like lose all the money here. And people are also gonna get hired and fired a lot. Services are dirt cheap. Going to nothingness. Let's do this, because we are planning on doing trench work and up to machine guns, which will be next episode. Our construction queue is gone. Let's see, I don't know what we want. We're gonna want these eventually, I guess. We could send you to 51, or start. I guess. Yeah, they're siphoning off all the... So we should get the event? Except your weekly balance is horribly negative. So we won't be able to do it here. That's a very large weekly balance. Unless we get everything cheap. I mean, we could get electricity even cheaper. We could sub you. I mean, we could switch electric engines now. And sub you. As well. Yeah, this is a mess. We have 34 months. We need to get... profit greater than 0. And have public motor carriages. What about going to gas streetlights? What if we go to unlit streets? Which will make less services, and market stalls, which makes less services. And just only use the public motor carriages. That's helping. It's helping a lot. Okay, and your only input is transportation and wood. This is throwing our, like, economy into a blender to try and get this event as well. I think we sub these. Can't do it on automobile production, but this will make the engines cheap, which will make the transportation cheaper. Got transportation. We can also... we aren't using transportation in any of our PMs. Oh, we are. We could turn it off. That feels bad. Oh, is it because we just... the throughput penalty? Is that just gonna be the deciding factor that kills us? We have to have this at 0. If we tax services, that will make people pay more for services, so they'll buy less services? No, we don't want to tax services then. How do we get you to 0? What do you want from me? Alright, we could try and make... we could try and make this even cheaper. We can make more railroads to make the transportation cheaper? God. Okay. I'm trying to make this as cheap as possible and making as few services as possible. It's just we're providing so many services to the entire market. Is there a way to make people buy more services? Look at this average annual wage, though. It's so high. All these places are so high because the price of the labor in order to pull them. Okay. If we swap this over for a second, would that work? No, it's not going to be profitable. We're going to turn this off. And let them fire down. This, of course, is going to create a whole bunch of radicals, what we're doing here. Fuck. Oh, we're not even using the best PM there. Whoopsie. We could subsidize the logging. Make a little bit more wood. Because they use wood. God, it's almost... The balance is almost zero. It's so close. Maybe if we just let it think a little bit more. Maybe this is just this wood is... This is the difference. This is the truth. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Yes, 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 yes. Pop the event. Yes. Yes. Wait. This isn't the event I thought it was. Where's the other event from? Okay, well, we're gonna stop subbing that. We're gonna stop subbing everything. No subsidies for anyone. No subbies. Maybe sub you, but that's no subbies. Huh. Well, shoot. I guess we will be building the railroads till we get that event. I'm not sure what exactly spikes it, but what it does is it gives you double output on all your industries in the capital. I thought that was the one. I guess it's not. We will need to add a lot more of these. And we will call it an episode here. We've done a lot of the preparation for what we need in order to fight the United States. And so next episode, what we will be doing is we're going to research 3 techs. We're going to research trench, bolt-action rifle, and automatic machine guns, and then fight the U.S. I think is going to be the plan. We are neutral with the U.S., so we can declare war on them. We will have 150 battalions and the latest and greatest PMs. This is not too much. Hopefully we can get help from someone else, but we'll try and see what we can do. Anyways, hope you enjoyed. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, or share. And if you've been sitting a while, maybe take a walk. Good for your health. Have a good one.